Hi, this is the last part of this Ferranti indicator series. So I'll give today some details about the communication interface, hardware and firmware. So concerning the hardware, I have built a small processor board. As I said in my previous video, this is a PIC processor. I use this one I have in my stock, PIC 24AV32K 304. So there is nothing special, I use only the SPI bus. Okay, so I use this one, pin 22 for the clock, and concerning the data out, I use the SDO1 here, this is pin 24. And for the hardware interface, I use this dual high-speed differential line driver, 9638C, and I use two differential pairs for the connection to the indicator. The driver is here. So concerning the SPI protocol, it was a little bit difficult, but one big advantage of this instrument is that there is a test button here, as we have already seen. And this is interesting because actually the data which are sent through this interface in the test mode are identical to the data you have to send. I mean, not the content of the data, but the stream is identical, so you just have to respect the timings and everything will be okay. Without this test feature, it would be absolutely impossible to find the correct way to send the data, because this is not written in the schematics, and you will need, if you want to do something without the test, to know the contents of the PAL. So this would be very difficult. So you can see on the screen of this oscilloscope the communication data. So you have on the orange trace here on the bottom the data. In green you have the clock signal. These are the two signals which are sent from the microcontroller to the instrument. And in yellow on the top here you have the load signal of the shift registers. I will show you in the schematics to remind you. So this is the RCK signal, which is here, RCLK, which permits to load the content of the shift registers to the outputs here. And this is provided by the PAL inside the instrument, so you don't have access to this. And this signal is important because if you don't know the way that the instrument will generate this validation signal, this thing will not work. So this is the data stream. So you have first here 40 bits. At the end of this first stream, the instrument will generate a pulse here in order to load these data into the shift registers. And then you have to send, after a while here, another 8-bit data with 0 actually, but you need to send 8 clocks here, and after a while the instrument will generate another pulse, and this will validate the signal. So you have to send 6 bytes in total, that is to say 48 bits. So the first here is a 0, you have to send 1 byte to 0, 8 bits which are to 0, and the second byte here, you should send a byte which contains the value of 2. So the bit number 1 of this byte permits to set this output to 1. And then you send 3 other bytes which correspond to the symbol, to the Y position, and then to the X position. And then you have to send 1 byte to 0 here. You need to respect the timings. So actually, I have just seen the data in the test mode. We can use the test mode here. Okay, so you can see that you have something identical. You need to have a delay from this point to this one, and after you need also to wait some time before sending new data. So from one data to another one, we can measure. It is this time here. So you have a data which is transmitted in 100 microseconds approximately. But you need to wait before the end of the transmission of the last bit to the transmission of the next bit. You have to wait this time here at least, and you can measure this time. So this time is approximately 35 microseconds. Okay, so we can see maybe a little bit the firmware now. So I use hardware SPI bus, of course. The frequency of the SPI bus, the clock frequency is 500 kHz. So I will show you the routine on my computer here. This is a function which permits to send one character, one symbol if you want, at a given position. Before, one more thing, I have noticed that in the schematics of this instrument here, you have two inverted gates here on the MSB of this DAC. So this permits to send directly a signed value to the DAC. So the input will be a signed value from -100. I will show you on the screen one more time here. So the X position will be +100 on the right to -100 on the left. And on the Y position, you have +100 on the top and -100. So you don't have to worry about offset and something like that. So if you send 0 and 0, you will be in the center of the screen. So this is why in this function, the input parameters here are an unsigned chart for the symbol and a signed value for the position. So actually, what is sent first here will appear in terms of hardware at the end. That is to say that the first byte here will appear actually at the end. This is not visible because nothing is connected, but it is on the other direction. And the last byte will be this one actually. So this is why you have a 0 first. After you have the data with the value of 2, which correspond for the setting of this bit here. And after you have the symbol, which correspond, the symbol correspond to this shift register. And after you have the Y position, which correspond to this DAC, then the X position here. And then first you have another byte after a delay here, which correspond to 0. So the last byte actually will be this one here. So this is the main routine which should be written in order to run this thing. So if you want, I can show you the initialization of the SPI. So this is in user probably. No. Okay, so the initialization of the SPI bus. If you want to do something yourself, you have already this code. And the clock frequency of the microcontroller is set to 8 MHz, the internal clock. I wrote this routine, which permits to send directly a string here. So in order to display something, you need to understand that when a character is displayed, it will not be stored into the instrument. If you want to keep the character displayed, you need to refresh constantly the communication. So for example, we take for example this one. If you want to display something a given time, you have to include the send function into a loop, because if you don't do that, if you don't send anything to the communication, nothing is displayed. So I think that's all for this instrument. I spent 3 or 4 days maybe to do this, and maybe more. So I think it's enough. I think we have done more or less everything. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.